As the Rotary Club of Alumni of University of Moratuwa, we strive for the betterment of the society and help those who are in need of help to make their lives better. Those who are trying to take their first step as new professionals may not have the necessary knowledge and skills to achieve their ultimate goal. Meeting successful professionals and learning from them is an opportunity for their professional careers to be. With those goals in mind, Meet a Professional 2021 is a program initiated by the Rotary Club of Alumni of University of Moratuwa to educate those who are trying to make a difference, to learn about the challenges their successes faced and create their own paths to success. Today, we have an exceptional person with us. He is well known as a successful entrepreneur. And even if some of you don't know him by name, I'm sure almost every one of you who types in Sinhala may know his first product, the Helakuru app. Yes, today we have Mr. Dhanika Perera, founder and CEO of Basha Lanka Private Limited and Pay Here Private Limited, who graduated at the University of Moratuwa from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, and currently reading for Masters in Business Administration at University of Sri Jayawardenepura. Greetings, Mr. Dhanika.
Nice to be with you.
First of all, what is Basha Lanka Private Limited in your perspective?
Basha is actually a digital technology company that produces and market our own software products targeting local and international markets.
Okay, so how do you position the Basha Lanka company in the Sri Lankan IT industry? Because the Sri Lankan IT industry is currently booming. This 2 decades had been a great steps. We have been taking great steps to increase and expand our scope as in the IT field. So, where do you position Basha Lanka?
Yeah, actually, when we look at the IT industry, there are actually two segments mainly. One is actually software services industry. So software services sector and software product sector. So what we can majorly see is actually most of the IT companies in the country is actually targeting software services, that is actually providing the development services for other organizations likewise. But how we actually differ from them is we are a software product company. We don't actually do developments for others' requirements, but we actually create our own products with our own ideas. So we can actually position ourselves as a digital innovations company.
What was your childhood dream growing up, and have you followed through, or you totally did something different from your childhood dreams?
It's actually like this. In my childhood, I never had an intention to become an entrepreneur. I didn't have any intention to build my own business because even I didn't know the meaning of entrepreneurship at my school age. What was my intention? My ambition in the school age was to be a software engineer. That was my passion, and that's why actually I choose to do mathematics in A levels, and I got selected University of Moratuwa engineering faculty. I was following my dream of becoming a software engineer. I happened to accidentally converted to an entrepreneur because of innovation that I did. I had a unique passion from my childhood to do these software things in Sinhala language, our own language, right? Give the capability of reading Sinhala on mobile devices. But later on, I got a market demand. Etisalat was a telco at that time. It's no longer there. So Etisalat actually got to know about my product, and they demanded that. And that's the accident, how it accidentally happened. So I got a business market demand. So then actually I decided, okay, I will do this as a, not as an individual, but as a business. So I will start my own business. So that's actually how Basha Private Limited was registered as a limited liability company in the country. That's how it happened.
Why did you choose to be an entrepreneur rather than choosing a stable corporate career path? What was your strategy to overcome the high risks associated with a startup?
Because I had a unique passion, I could do an innovative thing based on that. And always, when you are innovative enough, you get a whole lot of opportunities, right? In the business sector, I mean, in the industry, in the markets, when you are, as far as you are being innovative, you get a whole lot of opportunities. So that was actually what happened to me as well. Since my product was innovative, and I could actually successfully build up a company on that. And the biggest challenge, I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, the biggest challenge I faced in my life, I mean, when I passed out from the university, I did this innovation in the third year while studying in the university. So I run the company as a just a virtual company without any office, without any space, about 2 years while I passed out from the university. So when I'm passing out, the biggest challenge for me, the biggest difficult decision I ever taken was whether I should continue this company that the startup that I actually started accidentally, or whether I follow a traditional path as same as all my colleagues in the university, whether to go for a job, go for an employment in an organization, and follow I mean, career ladder there. So what helped me to take the decision was actually, I mean, in that 2 years, within that 2 years, we actually performed very well. We have been awarded 3 times, even just as a virtual company, and our products have been actually recognized by people and start using that. So I could take a calculated risk, right? Because I had started, okay, for these 2 years, 1.5 years or 2 years, we have done this much. So if I continue working full time for my company, I would be ended up here. So that's my true story. So because of that, I had the gut feeling, okay, if I continue this, I will definitely be able to do that. So that was the motivation actually I had. And I mean, when we were working just as a virtual company, there were 3 of my colleagues working with me, colleagues from university, but I couldn't let them actually fall into a risk. So what I did was I strategically let them do a full-time job and just connect with me part-time, help me part-time for my work. But I take the risk personally, and I started working for it full-time. So that's actually the initial strategy I followed. As an entrepreneur, you have to, I mean, most of the time you have to believe your gut feeling, right? I mean, gut feeling makes you motivated internally, not externally, but internally motivated to do what you do. So that was actually what I had. I had a gut feeling that I can do this.
Was this business venture your own idea? If so, how did you come up with the idea? I mean, the company, the Basha company, this business venture.
Now Helakuru, now the flagship product right now of us is actually Helakuru. So how that idea came, now, as I mentioned, for my university project, what I developed was actually a browser, a mobile web browser, which gave the capability of reading Singalone mobiles. So that was the one that demanded by Etisalat, and I got a market opportunity. But later on, when that product was launched and people get to use that, they had another demand. They had another need actually, right? Now they can read Singalone on their mobile devices, but they can't write, right? So that was the need I identified, the gap I identified in the market. Okay, there is a problem. Now mobile is going to be the digital device in the future, right? Smartphones, even though at that time smartphones were not much popular, I visualized or I envisioned that definitely smartphone will be the future. So with that vision that I had, I saw that market gap or the problem of people as a great opportunity, right? So I think entrepreneurship, the real meaning of entrepreneurship is that, right? I mean, it's not actually about starting a business or, I mean, being your own boss, but the real meaning of entrepreneurship is actually solving the problems of people by innovative thinking or innovative ideas, making products and services through innovative ideas. So that's what I exactly did. I mean, the first one was an accident. There's a set browser, the browser product I did for university project. But later on, what I did, I identified, okay, what are the problems faced by people? I mean, through my own product, okay, I gave the reading capability, but people are demanding writing capability. So then actually I got this idea of, okay, at that time, Android gave the compatibility to develop third-party keyboards. So I took that opportunity internally, and actually I built a Sinhala keyboard for Android. And later on, actually, iOS gave that permission about 4 or 5 years later. So when that actually happened, I did it for iOS as well. So that's how it happened. And that's about the idea of Helakuru. Now, if I come to the idea of pay here, just another example for you to get an idea and get some inspiration. Now, when I start Basha and when I'm running the company as a digital product company or software product company, the main barrier was us. The main barrier for us was actually charging the users or getting our payments from our customers, because we were doing a digital business. We were selling digital products, so we can't use the traditional ways of collecting payments from our customers, right? We can't get checks or ask them to do bank transfers or like that, right? And when I actually got into that problem, and when I look at the alternatives, I mean, the PayPal support was not there, and all the other businesses also, other local businesses were also facing with this similar issue, right? They didn't have a proper way to collect payments online or payments in a digital way from their customers. So there also I identified that as a huge gap in the market, a huge problem that people face. So just without blaming and waiting for governments and all that to fulfill that, I mean, there were so many online petitions signed for get PayPal into the country, but they were never fulfilled, unfortunately. So as an entrepreneur, with my entrepreneurial thinking, I thought, why can't we do something for this? Why can't we do some solution for this? At least it will fill this gap up to some extent, right? So that's the motivation behind the idea of pay here came to me. And then I partnered up with a few banks. The strategy was actually to use the reputation I had gained from my first venture for my second venture. So banks and telcos was pleased enough to give me an opportunity, because I had a good reputation with my integrity I maintained with my first company, Basha and Helakuru. So they actually welcomed me, and I could partner up with them and develop a solution for that. Right? I mean, later on, actually, we even got into some legal problems, but even we could convince central bank, okay, the country needs a solution like this, because of I followed that strategy, right? And the bottom line is, today, more than 2,500 local businesses are using Pay here as an alternative for PayPal, right? So that's actually how those two ideas I was ignited about those two ideas.
So taking from your story that entrepreneurship is always about finding that niche need of the society, because it's not visible. Sometimes it's not visible. There's a need. Finding that need is the main core thing about entrepreneurship, as I think. And
exactly. And also, I mean, you need actually the visualization capability also for that. I mean, visioning capability. I mean, maybe that need is not a present need. It may be a future need, right? I mean, the need of Felakuru, right? I mean, it was not a present need at that time, because I mean, 10 years back, the smartphone's not much popular. I mean, even I couldn't afford a smartphone. I developed Helakuru just using the emulator, Android emulator. I mean, I didn't have a physical device at my hand, right? But I imagine, I envision that this will be the future, right? These devices will come down in price, and this will be the most popular device in another 5 years, 10 years ahead, right? And that visualization, I mean, that we are visioning, really became a reality. And today, I mean, you and I can see all the devices are Android or iPhone, right? iOS. So now it's a real need for people, and it's successfully fulfilling that.
Okay, thank you for sharing those insightful ideas with us. About your partners, you said you had 3 colleagues helping you throughout this journey. Were there any business partners that when you are starting the venture? Were they business partners, as well as what is the importance of having partners in entrepreneurship?
Sure. I mean, when it comes to, do anything, I mean, the teamwork is really matters, right? I mean, because you as a person, you are actually an individual, right? I mean, you maybe have some strengths as some weaknesses as well, right? You may be good at, I mean, for an example, you may be good at actually technology, or the coming up with product ideas, but you may not be good at actually developing them. You may not be a good coder, right? Not good programmer, right? In the otherwise, I mean, you may be a good programmer, and you don't have any idea about the UI UX side. I mean, the user experience side, right? I mean, the aesthetic and I mean, the visualization of site, right? So always, that's why you need actually partners. That's why you need actually a team, because when you actually build a team, you can actually I mean, connect, or you can combine all the strength of all these people, right? So then actually the strength of the team becomes the individual strength of each and everyone, right? So when I actually, I mean, the true story is when I was starting, I was really good at 2 things. One thing is actually, I mean, identifying these problems and coming up with ideas, product ideas, and then actually giving a pleasant user experience for the consumers, right? I mean, the user interface designing and user experience designing. I mean, at that time, I mean, even we didn't know that there is something called UX, but I had that in my guts, right? But I was not a good coder, right? I practically, I mean, coded or programmed Helakuru in the initial state, since it was actually my university project. But I was not much such a good, I mean, theoretically such a good programmer, right? So then actually what I did, I mean, talked to one of my friends, right? He was called Charmika. Still, he's with me in a part-time basis. So he was actually I mean, GSOC winner, and he was actually have all these strength of software engineering, the core concepts, and he was an expert. So what I did was I joined with him. I invited him. Okay, let's do this. I will do this part. You can do this part. So we can have a great partnership going, right? So that's the importance of actually having multiple people with multiple talents. I mean, again, it's not much useful or productive when you have the same kind of people who have the same strengths, right? When you build up a team, or when you actually looking for partnerships, you have to always get a mix up of them, and you have to see what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, or what you are not really good at. So if there is something that you are not really good at, then you can hire, or you can partner, or you can collaborate with some party who has those strengths. If I again connected with business partnerships now, what we were talking about actually individual partnerships, but if you're talking about now, when you grow your company, you will be able to partner with other organizations as partners, right? So for Pay Here, we did something like that, right? So when Pay Here started, we got into some legal problems from the central bank. So to comply with those legal concerns, we had 2 options: either to comply with all of them and paying a lot of money, I mean, investing a lot of money on that, or else partner up with some organization who already comply with those legal requirements, so that we will have we will definitely have a kind of a compromise as well, but we can gain their strengths. So that's where we actually partner up with Sampath Bank as our main partner bank. So there was actually a revenue wise the return wise, there is a compromise as well. But we don't have to meet all these actually the legal requirements, because they are already legally compliant. They are a regulated bank. So we can use their strength as well for our organization. Right. So that's the importance of partnerships and the importance of actually, combining strength of multiple people or multiple entities to build a huge, strong thing.
Were there any hardships you faced, and how did you overcome such situations?
Yeah, actually, in a story of any entrepreneur, there are difficulties, there are hardships, there are downtimes. We actually go on. Most of the time, people don't see those things because we popularize, or actually we publish only the good side of our achievement as entrepreneurs. Initially, if I share you a few things, initially actually the taking the decision to continue this the startup that I started. That was actually the main difficulty that I had when all my actually colleagues in the university was hired by reputed organizations. It was a really difficult decision for me to take, to give up the fixed package and to take a risk to earn my own earnings, right? That was the most that was the very first challenge that I had, difficulty. And then actually when I took that decision, and when I'm going on, the recognition in the society was also another challenge. Sri Lanka is not a country which has actually a entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? So even our parents, even our relatives, even our society, I still remember, most of the friends and most of the relatives called our office as a shop, right? What they're asking is, how is your shop now? Likewise. So, that was the social aspect, the perspective of the people. So the social challenges were another challenge. And then in terms of financial challenges, there were quite a bit of time we were difficult to find the right business model. How we can survive with our own products. The survival was not a problem because I followed that hybrid strategy. We could actually pay our staff salaries from the projects that we did, the services that we provided. But it was really challenging how we can actually make our products profitable. Since our very first product was Helakuru ran about 4-5 years without making a single cent, right? Without making a single cent, because we didn't have a proper way to monetize that. We tried here and there, we tried this and that, but actually we couldn't find a proper model. We couldn't use advertising at all because it's a keyboard. We can't actually mess up a keyboard with advertisements. We tried many things, but they failed, right? And finally, however, again, a random thing, an accidental thing, actually, when we introduced these themes, just as a little experiment, we introduced that as a premium feature, right? And not actually the other, fascinating technological stuff, but these fancy themes attracted people, right? People started paying us just to enable themes. And that was actually where we cracked our business model, right? And right now we are quite profitable with Helakuru, and we are investing our own profits for our other products as well. So, it was quite challenging at that time. Once it is found, it's nothing, but until you find that, it's a quite challenge. You always think, how can we make profitable? Because that was our long-term goal. We didn't have a long-term goal to always do projects, right? So likewise, again, as I mentioned, when I started Pay Here, then we had to go through a few legal challenges, right? My expertise was technology, and I was a technological person. When I made a solution for the country technologically, we faced legal challenges because I mean I'm not an illegal expert, right? The solution we came up with had some legal concerns that was not actually comply with the legal system in the country, and the problem was not exactly that. The legal system in the country didn't have any provisions for the business model that we innovated. That was the problem, right? I mean, always I believe now entrepreneurs are there actually to make laws, right? I mean, entrepreneurs should not actually restrict themselves for laws or legal things, because I mean laws are created always for the existing world, right? Not actually the world innovated by entrepreneurs and innovators, right? So I mean the common example, when before actually the airplanes come into the picture, there was no any aviation laws, right? So when a airplane or a new device come into the world, the laws should be adapted to that, not actually the product, right? So that has actually what happened for pay here. So when we come up with that, central bank has to introduce a legal provision for that. And luckily, I mean, perseverance was the secret of that. We didn't give up at any point. We believe that the country needs this kind of solution. So we have to find some way to get this done. So likewise, I mean, we could face all those challenges in a positive way. And there were some failures that I at some time that I gave up as well. For an example, some products were there. We had some failure products where we tried to make profitable or make a business model, but we failed. So we had to give up. So there we had some few products like Mobi TV, Rooper, Abgens, and AdLink, kind of few products which are right now dead. We are no longer continuing them. So likewise, I mean, it's a mix of challenges that you face as an entrepreneur. But always, if you have these two things, but I highlight always the passion. If you are actually doing what you do with your internal motivation, not from the external motivation like money or reputation or popularity or something like that, the external motivation, without them, if you do what you do with your internal motivation, that is actually the passion, that is your driving force, right? If you do in your internal motivations like passion, you don't have to stop anymore, right? And again, the second thing is perseverance. So those two are the key things in my life as how I face those challenges. Perseverance is actually, I mean, doing what you do until it gets success, right? I mean, the negative no, right? So perseverance is a must. If you're an entrepreneur, you will definitely face challenges, a mix of challenges, all those socially, financially, legally, you will face a whole lot of challenges. But you have this, if you have this passion and the perseverance, you can actually overcome all of them.
What was the target customer base of Basha Lanka and how did you exploit? And also, did you have faith in Basha to grow into this current customer base, to grow its own customer base within such a short period?
Yeah, initially our target customers was actually the Sinhalese people. I mean, those who actually use Sinhala as the language they prefer in their day-to-day life. Since I was very interested on Sinhala Unicode and writing in Sinhala, I actually wrote a blog in Sinhala 10 years back at my university time, right? That was called Dhanika and it was very popular among the bloggers at that time, right? So all these actually issues or problems that I came up solutions with was actually what I identified with that blogger community, right? I mean, they wrote blogs in Sinhala, they wrote really nice write-ups and articles in Sinhala, but most of the people didn't able to read them because I mean they didn't have a proper way to read Sinhala on mobiles. So that's what I tackled, and also I had that audience, I had the initial audience of Sinhala interested people because of my blog. So when I come up with some solution for Sinhala related stuff, I used initially my blog, as the way to promote it, as the way to, popularize it, peopleize it, right? So that was the very initial, the niche target market that I reached. And then it went word of mouth. It went viral by word of mouth, because the majority of the country is actually Sinhalese speaking people. So it went word of mouth, because when there is a no solution in the market, or when there is no solution that your problem can be solved, people are very, in their behavior, people are very easily convertible from using a new product by word of mouth, right? So that's how actually that went viral. And even up to today, we haven't spent any cent on Helakuru to convince the users, to convince the customers to download our app. We have never advertised download Helakuru. Never have used it, right? Because what we believe in, if we create the value, if we create a value that people perceive, that people see, okay, this is valuable for me, right? People should see, okay, this is valuable for me. This product will add value to me. This product is useful to me. If we do something, if we create some product up to that level, people will definitely come into that, right? We don't have to go and push it. The demand will automatically come, organically come, right? That's what we followed from the very beginning. So always what we focused is not to market it and forcefully download it to people, which happens today for many of the upcoming apps, right? So it's very unfortunate to see they don't actually highlight what is the benefit that the customers get, but they actually highlight, okay, this is an app, download it. We have never done that. What we have always focused is to keep the value and maintain the value and uplift the value and increase the value of our products to with many features, many benefits, many value additions, likewise, so that the people will organically come. The people themselves will organically promote it. Then that's how actually Helakuru went from 1 million to 2 million downloads to 3 million, and right now actually we are very near to 10 million, right? We are most recently, when I checked, it was about 9.8 million downloads, right? And it's used by more than 4 million people actively, daily actively. It's used by more than 4 million people, right? So what I believe, you don't have to actually worry about the target market and promoting it forcefully to them, but you have to worry about the product, right? If you focus on your product and make it actually a valuable product for people to, the people to realize that will add value to their lives, then definitely your market will grow. And that's how actually today Helakuru has been the market leader in this area, and we are now actually evolved it beyond the keyboard. Right now, Helakuru is a super app with providing many value-added features, value-added services, digital services for people, and there's a very good demand or very good usage for them as well. Just to inspire you, a small example, we introduced a very basic digital service, a reloading feature through Helakuru. Right now, today, our people, Sri Lankan people, uses Helakuru to put their reloads in this lockdown situation. More than 1.6 million rupees of reloads per day are put through Helakuru, right? More than 1.6 million reloads per day. Right? So that's the impact. If you create the value, if you create a sustainable value, definitely your market will grow. That's what I believe.
Are you satisfied with what you have achieved so far with Basha? Where would you put Basha and yourself from a decade from now?
I'm really satisfied. I'm really happy, and I'm really content about all the aspects. Now, when it comes to an organization, especially when it grown-up organization, it's not actually only about your profit, right? Only about your returns, right? You have to be concerned about all the stakeholders of your organization. So that includes actually your team who work for the organization, and the society who actually gives the return for the organization, and even actually the other parties, right? The people as a whole, right? So when we actually consider about all these aspects, we are really content, because from the very beginning, our ultimate objective is actually to make a social impact that change the lives of people. Other thing is, a business that makes nothing but money is a poor business. It's a quote by Henry Ford, right? A business that makes nothing but money is a poor business. So that's a philosophy that we believe. If your only objective of your organization is making money, you are a poor business. And your second question is about from a decade, how will I see? That is actually, I believe that is a question that should not be asked from an entrepreneur, because our journey is actually very unpredictable, right? I mean, when I start Basha, when I start Helakuru, I never imagined that I will come up with another product like Pay Here, right? It Pay Here emerged as a problem that I faced, and as another idea, right? And then actually we came up with another product called Shop Here during this lockdown period last year, right? So even when starting with Pay Here, I didn't know that I will come up with another product like Shop Here, right? So it's always unpredictable. It always actually combined, or always actually align with the opportunities that entrepreneurs see. So I don't see what is the next opportunity that I will see and I will leverage by making a product or service for that. So in the time of 5 or 10 years period, what the only thing I can see, we will definitely see more opportunities in the market. We will definitely actually see problems of people, and we could come up with new ideas and new products and services to solve those problems, to fill that market gaps, and we would be able to offer another set of products and services which will really impact the lives of people in the time to come as well. That's what all I can say.
Okay. Talking about the COVID-19 situation, we are all in our homes. We are currently limited. Our actions are limited. What we can do is currently limited, rather than going physical and doing stuff. So how would you recommend for up and coming entrepreneurs to grasp this COVID-19 situation as an opportunity rather than a downside?
Again, I mean, exactly as I just mentioned, I mean, for an entrepreneur, every problem is actually an opportunity, right? So it's just a matter of actually combining these two things. One thing is, you need to, as an entrepreneur, I mean, if you have this entrepreneurial mindset, you should be able to see things differently, right? You should be able to see the things that surrounds you. I mean, in your environment, in your society, in your neighborhood, if you see something, and when all the other people see that as a problem, and if they actually blame for someone for that, maybe the government. I mean, in Sri Lanka, everyone blames government for everything, right? So when all others actually seeing a problem, and when all others actually blaming for that, or I mean, just wasting time on that, if you can see that as an opportunity, right? I mean, that's actually the entrepreneurial mindset. And also internally, you should also have a good understanding of what are your strengths and weaknesses as a person or as an organization, right? So when you have a good realization of that strengths, right, and when you see these opportunities or when you see these problems, then actually you will be able to combine those two things or marry those two things, right? I mean, if there is an opportunity which you can actually give a solution with your expertise, with your strengths in you, right? And that's actually where the new ideas comes, right? That's actually where you can build new products and services. So Shop Here is a great example for that. I take that example to inspire you. I mean, when we faced the COVID situation initially last year, and when we faced the lockdowns, the curfew situation in the first place, we thought, what are the strengths we had, right? What are the strengths we had? I mean, we had a strength of a good team. who can actually come up with a new product in a very little bit of time. And then we had the digital payments capability, which we gained from our own company Pay Here. And we have a huge audience, huge consumer base, which we can easily approach through Helakuru, which we have gained from Helakuru. So what we did was we combined all these strengths and we developed a solution for the grassroots level shop owners to make their shops online, right? I mean, to take them online orders and to deliver their goods and services to the doorsteps, right? For that, we use the technology development capability of our team, as well as we offer the digital payment capability through Pay Here. We invited them to use Pay Here to collect the payments from the customers, and actually we gave them an audience or gave them the reachability for the consumers through our Helakuru user base that we have already created. Even today, Shopee is free for a shop owner to sell up to 20 products, right? So for a difficult situation, it's a really, peace of mind for the shop owners. Without wasting a single cent, they would be able to use a new product, use a new facility that will ease their lives, right? So likewise, that's just an example I showed you where how you can see the problems as opportunities and then realize your strengths and combine those two things to come up with a new idea, new product at any situation.
Finally, as a successful entrepreneur, what is the message that you have to give to future enthusiastic entrepreneurs?
Yeah, my message is actually, if you really want to become an entrepreneur, first you have to see yourself, right? See inside, right? One of the major mistakes that people do is actually they are looking at ways to make money, right? They are not looking at ways, looking at the ways how you can actually leverage your expertise or leverage what you are passionate about to impact the society or give the society a value, but they rather actually focusing on how they can actually get return or get the money from the society, right? That is actually giving and taking, right? So what I always say to my team and to everyone, I mean, if you are to take, you have to first focus on giving, right? If you give a really valuable thing, if you give a really valuable meaning, or if you make a positive impact only, you will be able to take, right? So always look at yourself, look at internally and see what you are really good at, what you are really passionate on, and then actually use your entrepreneurial eye to see the opportunities which you can actually solve, the problems which you can solve with these strength or passion or expertise that you have, and try to match them and build a great value for the people's life, right? And if you build a useful thing, if you build a sustainable value, definitely it will take some time, but ultimately you will definitely get the return for that value from the society or the consumers, right? And that is actually the way to become a successful entrepreneur, not the other way around. If you focus first on taking part, you will never be able to take until you give something valuable to the society. And that's my message. Thank you.
That's it for today. I thank Mr. Dhanika Perera for joining me with us, and I hope those who are listening and viewing this video will learn a lot from this. And I indeed again thank you for being an influential and successful entrepreneur, and you are a great person. So before we conclude the session, as the Rotary Club of Alumni of University of Moratuwa, we will bring you more sessions like this in the future. But for now, we are concluding with Meet a Professional 2021 for this year. And with the hope of meeting you all with another similar project, signing off, I am Dhanika. Have a nice future.